guys, it's Crafty K-Bug, and today I'll be showing you how to make these 2-color paracord bracelets. I've showed you how to make the 1-color ones before, and I'll leave that link in the description box below. But if you want to know how to make a 2-color one, you can stay tuned. These have buckles, so you can clamp and unclamp them to put them on. And I'm using the method of joining the 2 strings. And if you want me to do a tutorial where you don't have to do that, then leave a comment down below telling me and give this video a thumbs up. So, let's get started. Before I begin, do this with parents' supervision or permission because we're using a lighter to burn our ends and I don't want any of you getting hurt. So if you're, I would say, 12 or under, make sure you have your parents' permission before you go around and burn the house down. To make these paracord bracelets, you'll be needing some paracord, so like this one. I'll tell you how to put these together and stuff, and how much you need later. You're going to need a ruler or something to measure it with, so you can use a tape measure or a ruler or whatever. That, and then you'll be needing some sharp scissors to cut the paracord. You'll be needing a buckle. You'll be needing a lighter. You can use a cigarette lighter or this kind. I prefer to use this kind because I'm maybe not the best with lighters and I'm not very old, still in school and all that, so it's just a little bit easier for me to do this because it keeps my hand away from the flame. I feel safer using this kind, but whatever you prefer. And that's all you'll be needing, and we can get started. So to get started, you're going to need a certain amount of paracord, and I have it written down in this little thing. I wrote down like an equation, I guess. And you're going to do however long you want your bracelet to be. You're going in inches. You're going to multiply that times 2. So if I want my bracelet to be 7.5 inches, I'm going to do 7.5 times 2 and get 15. So that's 15 inches, and then 1 foot for every inch of the bracelet, so that's 7.5 feet. And then you can convert that to inches and get 90 inches. And that's going to equal your total amount of paracord, and then you divide that by 2 to get each color. And then here I just made the equation and worked it out. And I also added a little bit too, just to make sure I had enough, so I added something in there. That's why I got a little bit more. So I have 52.5 inches of each color, but that's with adding a little bit just to have extra. So you can add like 3 inches to each color maybe, and that should be plenty. So that, I like to have that because I like to have extra. So that's what you're going to do, and then you're going to fuse them together. And how you're going to make this joint is you're going to put both ends of your paracord. So I'm going to pretend I'm doing it with the other side, but I'm not actually going to light these on fire because I don't want to do it on camera because I'm not very good at it. But if I can hold it right up to my face, or at least closer to my eyes, I can see it. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold these side by side, and then you're going to light them on fire, and then they're going to start to melt. So you're going to see them start to ooze a little bit, and once that starts happening, you can stop, and then you're just going to take the 2 ends and push them together, and then they'll melt together. So if you're still confused, you can watch a video separately on that. That's the best way I know to explain. Just make sure they're melted. That was a key word for me. I could never figure it out, and then I realized they had to be melted, and I was like, oh. And I figured that out, and yeah. So let's get started. You're going to make a loop, and this is going to be right smack in the center right here, but you're going to go down a little bit. You don't have to go down much, just a little bit, maybe an inch or 2. And then you're going to feed this loop. Okay, my buckle is curved, but if yours isn't, that's cool. It means your bracelet's going to be reversible, but mine's not going to be because my buckle's curved, and I'm going to go down through. If you have a buckle with that's flat, you don't have to worry about whether you're going down through or up through because it's the same sort of thing. But you'll kind of want to make sure you know a side that's going to be the top, if you know what I mean. So you're going to do that. Now you have that through. And then you're going to pull this through. Then you're going to pull all this paracord through this loop. So you're going to pull this back, and you make something, about like that. And that's going to be your little knot right there. Let me zoom in a little bit. Alright, so you have something about like that. And now you're going to keep this buckle together for one more step, and you're going to take one of your strings. So for me, I'm going to take this white one. I'm just going to find the end. So I'm going through. I'm going to find the end. And then I'm going to see it is right on this side. So I'm going to make sure this is on this side. I don't have to at first. So I'm just going to push this down through the buckle. That is important. So once you go down through, I'm going to pull that through a little ways. You don't have to go far right now. And then you're going to take your other side. So for me, this is this purple side. And I'm going to go down through here. Just going to push that down through there. Alright, you can pull that a little bit. And now you can unbuckle this. So you're going to unbuckle it, and okay, now you're going to take this end, and I'm going to just pull it down more towards my buckle, because the length right here is going to be the length of your bracelet. So you're going to pull it through, and see how that's going down through and everything, and if you pull them this way, they can buckle and they're going to go together. So just make sure it's like that. And now you have this, and I'm going to measure it until it's 7.5 inches. So right now it's about 8 inches. So I'm just going to scoot this in a little bit until I have 7.5 inches about. And you can count one buckle length. So see how I'm counting this length of that buckle but not this one? You're going to want to do that because when they go together, it's this one's inside of that one. So you're going to have something about that long, and then we can begin making the stitches. Before I go any further, I would like to note that your bracelet length is going to be the length of your wrist, and then add 1.5 inches or so. So my wrist is probably about 6 inches, so that's why I'm doing 7.5. And then you're gonna pick this up. You're gonna kind of fold it right there, and you're gonna hold that there. And notice how these strings are coming around from the back. If they're not like that for you, then you did something wrong when you were putting your buckle in, and you didn't go down through. So now you're gonna start, and whichever part you want to be the part running down the middle, that's the one you're gonna start with, and you're gonna make your first stitch. So you're gonna make a figure 4. It's a backwards 4, and then you're going to go over with your white string, and then under all of your bracelet, and then right here. And I'm just keeping a hold on that buckle so it doesn't tighten up and make the bracelet smaller. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to pull it through. Pull it like so, and then you've got something about like that. And then you have your first stitch. After you made your first stitch, you're going to measure it, make sure it stayed the same length. Mine did not. So I'm going to undo the stitch. And I'm just going to pull it that way and see if that gives me enough extra. It may or may not. And it did. It may not be exactly 7.5 inches, but that's alright. So once you have it there and you know you have a good bracelet size, we can begin the other stitches. So I'm going to get it in here. Alright, so to begin the next stitches, every time you start, the one you're going to cross over is going to be the same string every time. So for me, it's purple. So I'm crossing over. Then with the white, I'm going over here. And then under and through. And then you're going to pull that tight. And you're going to want to pull it really tight. So once you kind of get here, you can kind of pull it really hard. Keep it nice and tight. It keeps your bracelet nice and skinny, keeps you from getting holes in it, and it makes your bracelet just look nicer overall. And so you're going to make your stitches. If you have a paracord jig, you can use that. I actually do have a jig, but I did not bring it because I know most people don't, so I'm not going to use it in the tutorial. So you're just going to pull it tight, and then after every stitch or two, you don't do it after every stitch, but every now and then, you're just going to put one finger here and one finger here on the edges here, and you're going to pull it up and towards your buckle, like that. So you'll have something about like that. And you're just going to repeat these stitches all the way down, and another way you can know which one you're crossing over first is where the last little bump was. So the bump was right here, so I'm crossing over the string first. So I'm making the forward 4, going down and over, and you're going around and under and through that loop. Pull it tight. And you're just doing this all the way down. As you can see, I'm nearing this joint, and I'm just going to pull it up like that and make sure I'm all the way up, and then you're just going to do the same thing, but you're just going to make sure you pull it really tight, and you're going to kind of place your stitches around it if you can, and just kind of maneuver it and try to do the best you can and make it not very obvious. So I'm pulling this stitch really tight just to make sure that it stays small. And then I'm going to do the next stitch, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do in this stitch. So I'm making this stitch like normal, and then I'm pulling it tight, and I'm going to kind of place it right in here. So I'm just kind of slowly going right here. So you can see where I'm placing that stitch, and I'm going to pull it tight. There we go. The good thing about paracord is you should never have the fear of breaking it, because you're not gonna. If you break paracord, I want your autograph. And that is without scissors. Well, anyway, then you just keep going to the end. At the end, and I'm trying to push this back as much as I can and see if I can fit one more stitch in there. That's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to get as far in there as you can, because you don't want to have any space left in between there, but at the same time you want to be able to pull the stitch nice and tight. And you can see how much paracord I have left. I probably didn't need to cut those extra 3 inches. I mean, I had plenty, but I do anyway because I like to have extra. So that's just me. You are you. And I'm just going to pull this really tight if I can. So I'm like, welcome to get a nice hold and pull. Okay, that's as tight as I think I'm going to get that last stitch. And so there's the bracelet. Oh, sorry, I forgot I had the focus up close. And then now I'm going to do this part, and I'm going to try to do this on camera. even though I know in my last paracord bracelet video, I don't think I did. I'm going to get my scissors and my lighter ready. I may only do one. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm only going to do one on camera. But you're just going to cut them and melt them into the edges. So I'm going to do the white one. Actually, I'm going to do the purple one, because if I mess up, it's not going to be as bad. So I'm going to do it to the purple one, and I'm just going to cut this string and then melt it. So, cutting the string. Okay. I'm going to kind of like pat it down a little bit. Then you can take your lighter. Be really careful if you're young, have parent supervision, please. Don't get burned. I don't want any of my subscribers burned, or just anybody watching this video. So you're just going to, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm paying close attention to what I'm doing and not the frame or anything, because this is dangerous. And you're just going to want to make sure you've got it singed in to everything else. So once it kind of starts melting, that's when you know you're pretty good, and then you can like use the tip of your lighter to smush it in. So there's that side, and I'm going to do the other side, and then I'll come back after I've done that, and then you'll have your bracelet. Here's a close-up of what it looks like after I did that. So they're just kind of singed in there. That one's still probably a little bit hot. Yeah, it is. And so they're not going to come out. And here's, look at the inside. Here's look at the outside. And then here's your bracelet. So this is really pretty stitching, and I know I like it. So I'm going to let this cool, and then I'm going to put it on my wrist. So here it is on, and so this is what it looks like, and it's got the buckle and everything. And how you can check it to make sure you did it right, I would do this before you cinch the ends, but notice how this little knot is on top, and on this side these little strings coming out are on the inside. So this is on the inside, that part's on the outside. So on the inside you should have the strings coming in like that. That is just, it makes it more round, and when I buckle this, it's going to look round and not like jutted in and like that, like some of my older ones looked. So it took me a while to figure that out, but once I did, that really helped. So here's your paracord bracelet. I hope you like it. I know I do, and if you do, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And also, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will get back to you. Also, you can follow my Instagram. It's crafty_kbug, and subscribe here on YouTube so you can insert your name after Crafty. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!